Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to Exploring the Ka with your host, Ra Castaldo. It's friggin' 6 o'clock in the morning and it's 9 degrees here in New York. And this is part 2 of the misconceptions of Magick, good and evil shaman, and all the all the stuff about Magick that I wanted to talk about. And this will be a series. This is part 2. Last time we were talking about certain occult symbols that are used, that people make misconceptions, that have misconceptions of, certain symbols that are used normally, and that people just don't understand what they're continuing when they use these symbols. Now, we also touched on in the last episode, like the owl, and how it seems to be, also in alien abductions, and how some alien stuff and situations and encounters now are considered alien talk. Back just a few years ago, a couple of decades ago, it was talked about as witchcraft or witches, like owls, appearing in the window and then hovering over somebody's bed as an alien, or, back in the day they used to say witches transformed into owls. So I touched on this in the last episode, if you guys didn't see that video blog. Even the word owl, that's where the root of the Strega word comes from. In Latin, the word strix means owl or screech owl, and that's the main owl that's associated with the Strega tradition as well. In fact, it's a family symbol of mine. Now, another thing that I wanted to just touch on real quick that people don't realize, another, if you want to call them entities or beings or people or, encounters that are typically described as some kind of alien encounter nowadays, or associated with alien abductions, or alien UFO sightings or something like that, is the Men in Black. The Men in Black, if you guys, I'm sure if you're listening to this video and you're fans of the paranormal and of the UFO community, they've heard of the Men in Black, how there may be different sorts of Men in Black. There may be a Man in Black species, that are their own species coming from another dimension or another planet, and they are here to almost silence the witnesses of UFO cases or cryptid cases or some kind of cryptozoological encounter or something like that. And they would appear afterwards and almost have somebody inside of some sort of like trance, where they, almost brainwashing them in a way. And their appearances are very stoic, very similar to each other, almost identical to each other. Some have said they're Asian complexion and tan. Others say they have zombie-like corpse appearances. So it's a varied spectrum. But the thing that's funny is that, interesting, is that in hereditary Strega lore, we have these beings that are called the Men in Black, and basically it's in Italian it's like it's called Capinera, yeah. I think it's pronounced Capinera. I think that's what it's called, and that's when these people or these beings, they have hereditary powers, magical powers, and they are always in the background observing. And they observe, people that sometimes they might be very like an outcast, or prone to spending time in the woods, or just not the norm of society, alternative medicine. And this is back in, the 1400s, 1300s, 1500s, 1600s, probably even till this day, this goes on. And so these beings will be all dressed in black, sometimes hooded, sometimes in an old black, old light clothing, You know, almost like they're almost a few decades behind always. Like even in back in the times, like you know, the 14 or 15 or even 1600s, when people had a certain style of dress, these people would look like they're coming from biblical times, and they were in like cloaks, and they would be black hooded figures, and they would, if they saw somebody that was taking a liking to the craft and had psychic powers or having experiences, then they would appear to these people and either help them learn the traditions and encourage them, or if they found out these people were a negative aspect to it, they would silence these witnesses or these, you know, experiencers. So it's very similar to what the men in black are today and what they are talked about today. Also, I want to get into, you know, I talked about how there's dark and evil. I mean, there's evil and good shaman. And, you know, some people don't realize that even voodoo and dark voodoo is a form of shamanism. All metaphysical work is like being a shaman. If you're an herbalist and a dream seer and a psychic and you're helping heal people, then basically you are a shaman. And what people don't understand is that this path is not really chosen. You don't wake up and decide to be a shaman. It is something that chooses you. And in most cases, like in mine, the spirits will take you either during a sickness or a high fever or some kind of near-death experience where you will be almost abducted, like, from these spirits and taken to death's door and back. And if you make it back with your wits, and if you make it back alive and you're sane and you're not battling spirits out in the open like Rasputin, you know, then you are a shaman, you know, and you start your shaman spiritual journey from that moment on. And it's a spiritual evolution from then on out. But not only is it a spiritual evolution, it's you're aiding the spiritual evolution of others. And that leads me to go into the cosmic war that is upon us right now. I only have a few minutes, I gotta go to work, but we are battling for the spiritual evolution of our species. Every night we go to sleep, every day, every night, in the astral, we are battling for the spiritual evolution of us. You know, it's a cosmic war going on. And we are star soldiers standing on the front line, battling all these interdimensional beings that are trying to halt our spiritual evolution and take and harvest our souls. Now, in the Strega, we have two factions of witches or shaman or whatever you want to call them. It's the malandanti, which is the bad witches, and the benandanti, which are the good witches. Now, it is known and it is said that on certain nights of the year, these witches fall into trances, you know, a trance, and it's a sleep-like, lucid dreaming-like state where they go into the astral and they have these wars with the malandanti. The benandanti will have wars with the malandanti. And a lot of times back in the day, it was for the harvest, it was for the crops, you know. The good doers would be battling the evil doers, and they would be fighting for the outcome of the crops for that year, and the outcome of, you know, the new babies being born, whether they would be going towards the malandanti side or the benandanti side. And these are called the Ember days. These are called the Ember days, when the certain days out of the year where these humans with these psychic astral powers, you know, this is hereditary, passed down as well, you know. So this is really, it gets really strong and strong and strong. As it gets passed down, it gets stronger and stronger. So these beings, basically, you know, and I'm included, you know, and some of you are included and don't even realize it. The nights that these beings fall into the trance and go into the astral and have these cosmic astral wars with the malandanti, they're called the Ember days. And I even have a poem and a song that I've written called the Ember days that you can check out. And so it's just something to think about, guys, and it's something to take in if you didn't know. You know, these are very important times because we are in the Ember days on a massive scale. This is 2016. There was a storm brewing in all of us. A whole new dimensional shift has been brought upon the earth. And 2012 was the end of the last age, and then a new energy was coming. And here now in the last few months of 2016, it was upon us and coming onto us. And now in 2017, it will manifest. And for those who are not doing spiritual work, it'll be a real hard time for you. But those that have been doing spiritual work will succeed, and they will start to ascend. This is Exploring the Ka with your host, Ra Castaldo, and I'm gonna have to say goodbye for now. Spiral out.